Today, we're diving into a concept that could totally reshape our relationship with AI. I mean, forget about having to ask for help. We're talking about an AI that's always one step ahead, basically because it's always listening in.
So let me start by asking you this. When you use an AI right now, does it feel like you're talking to it or with it? You know that feeling, right, where you have to stop what you're doing, think for a second, and phrase the absolute perfect command? Well, that simple question gets right to the heart of a huge friction point with today's AI. And that brings us to what researchers are calling the interruption problem. We've all been there. You're deep in a task, maybe you're talking with a coworker, and you just need one little piece of information. And suddenly, boom, you have to stop everything, turn to your device, and speak a command. Your flow is just gone.
The thing is, right now, our AI assistants demand our full and undivided attention. They're what we call conversational agents, which means we have to engage them in this direct, back-and-forth dialogue. It breaks our concentration, it pulls us out of the moment, and if we're being honest, it can feel pretty clunky and unnatural.
But what if there was another way? What if an AI could just get the context of what you're doing or the conversation you're having and offer help proactively, without you ever having to break your stride? Well, this is the core idea behind a fascinating new concept, the overhearing agent.
The researchers behind this paper, Zhu and Callison Birch, they put it so well. Just imagine an AI that could quietly bring up relevant information during a doctor's appointment or automatically schedule a meeting while you and a colleague are just talking about your calendars. That's the dream. That's the vision here.
Okay, so let's really break down what this means. On one side, you've got the conversational agent. That's the chatbot model we all know. It's an active participant. But on the other side, you have the overhearing agent. It's more of a passive listener, just working in the background to help out without ever actually joining the conversation. And this really illustrates that shift perfectly. We're moving away from a direct, one-on-one kind of interaction like you see on the left to this new model of ambient assistance on the right. The AI becomes part of the environment, just observing human-to-human interaction to find ways to be useful. So the most important point is this. An overhearing agent is literally designed to listen in. It builds a picture of what you're trying to achieve, not by asking you a bunch of questions, but just by observing your conversations and your actions. And then it provides suggestions or even takes action completely in the background.
Now, this whole concept isn't just a one-size-fits-all thing. Not at all. To really get how these agents could work, the researchers have mapped out this whole range of design choices for how they can listen, when they act, and how they deliver help in all kinds of different situations.
First up, how does it listen? Well, you can think of it as having different senses. It could listen to your spoken words, picking up on audio cues. It could read the text in your chats and documents. Or it could even watch a video of you doing something, like trying to cook a new recipe. Each sense gives it totally different clues about the context. Now, here's a really interesting design choice. Initiative. When does the agent actually step in to help? It could be always active, constantly on the lookout for opportunities. Or maybe it's user-initiated, where you give it a subtle nod to start listening. It could even be post hoc, meaning it analyzes something after it happened, like a meeting transcript, to find action items. And the help itself? Well, it can be delivered in all sorts of subtle, quiet ways. A little notification might pop up on your computer. You could get a gentle buzz on your smartwatch, or maybe some info appears on a smart display. The whole point is that it's unobtrusive.
Okay, I know exactly what you're probably thinking right now, and it is the massive elephant in the room. An AI that is always listening? What in the world does that mean for privacy? This is without a doubt the single biggest challenge for this entire idea.
And the researchers, they tackle this question head-on. They cite a survey that showed less than half of people would be comfortable with an always listening device in their home. And that really tells you something, right? It shows that building trust is absolutely non-negotiable if this idea is ever going to take off. Thankfully, the paper does outline a pretty clear path forward for actually building that trust. We're talking about things like processing data directly on your device instead of sending it to the cloud, automatically redacting or removing private information, getting clear, unambiguous consent from everyone in a conversation, and, super important, making sure any action the AI takes can be easily undone with a single click.
So where does all of this go from here? The paper makes it very clear that while this vision is incredibly powerful, there are still some major technical and ethical hurdles to overcome on the road ahead.
So as you can see, the immediate challenge is just teaching these agents to predict the perfect moment to offer help. Not too early, not too late. After that, we need to figure out how to even measure if the help was actually, helpful. And looking further down the road, solving that consent problem when you have multiple people in a conversation, that is a huge and complex frontier.
When you really boil it all down, what we're talking about here is a potential pivot away from AI as a tool we have to explicitly command, and toward an AI that's a partner that implicitly assists us. It's a really fundamental shift from delegation to true collaboration.
And that kind of leaves us with one final big question to think about. As all this technology develops, what are we going to value more? An AI that's a powerful conversationalist we can chat with for hours? Or one that's so seamlessly woven into our lives that we barely even notice it's there? The answer to that is really going to shape our future with technology.